Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Naisha Stone, the founder of Carving Stone, your weekly source of positive news. We're back with another episode of CNS IG Live with positive black women. And today we have a special guest of mine. She's a close friend of mine. Her name is Dria Rushing, and I've known her since high school, so I'm very excited to have her on today. I'm just waiting for her to log in, so shouldn't be any time. But if you're just joining us, we're your weekly source of positive news. And if you're not busy tomorrow, we have the CNS Scholarship Fundraiser where we're looking to raise $14,000 for this year's fundraiser. And our guest is here, so let me add her in. Hey, Dria.
Hey,
What's up?
not much. I live by a church and their bell go off at 6 because of Jesus. So
Bro,
just let me know.
you hilarious. So, if you haven't seen, we're actually real life friends off of social media. Today we have Dria Rushing. Most people know her by DJ DRiP. So, today we're going to talk about her career in DJing, how she became a DJ, all the cool things that she's done with it, and just more cool stuff about you. So if you just joined us, again, my name is Naisha Stone. This is Carving Stone, your weekly source of positive news. And we're on the 7th episode of CNS IG Live with positive black women. It takes so much to say all that. Okay, now that we got all that out the way, what's up, Julia? How you feeling tonight?
Hey, y'all, I'm doing good. Yep, the bell for Jesus. I don't know how many times they ring it, but it's a bunch of times. So we might just... Oh, what up, Doc B? But yeah, I'm feeling good, doing good. Sun is shining. It's a beautiful day.
You so ignorant. Okay, so I always thought you were going to be like a professional dancer. I mean, like dancing like around the world. So I was surprised when you became a DJ. So how did that switch come about? So how did that come about?
So I took a dance class when I went to UWM, and it was a hip hop class. And from there, they actually had some hip hop dance group from this dance studio that's in the 3rd Ward. And they took auditions, and I ended up getting the spot on the team for a little bit. And that somewhat soured my relationship with dance, or at least how I envisioned it, which was with a cool group. Like, some of my favorite movies are Step Up. Like, I'm all about like the team thing, and like, you got served, like, let's get it. And I just kind of felt at the time like it's nothing that I could really focus on, because it wasn't the same etiquette or principles that came with hip hop dance or how I dance, versus like the more professional, like ballerina, jazz, a hip type stuff. But I still dance. Like, I go out to dance, and I just can't help myself. So to me, I'm a dancer regardless. And as DJing, it's really not that different for me, because I'm playing music that I love to play. And I like I said, I'm a dance regardless. Like, at my sets, I get down on the dance floor. Like, I let them spin. I come down there and I come kick it with y'all. And yeah, so it's really not that different. I'm still a dancer. I still be doing that.
Right there with you,
Yeah.
We be in the club. But no, what is it like? Because when like journalism with the media, I feel like you mainly see more women reporters. I don't know. But like I know, like when DJing, specifically in Milwaukee, you don't see a lot of women DJs. So how did you kind of make yourself like stand out and make sure that they respected you at the same time?
I came out as myself. very authentically, very goofy. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing here, and nobody else really does either, so it's cool. um, like we actually have a picture together where you came to the Scratch Sessions event, and that was at the time I chose to have a muumuu on during my set, and I was just a grandma back then, you know, like uh, I just be standing out because I do what I want, what I feel, when I feel. And I did happen to come across a lot of the cats in the industry now that are super well connected, and connect with each other really well for the most part, as far as I can tell. And so having the mentor that I had at the time, which is, he's quite frankly one of the best DJs that I've seen here. And being so connected to all the other best DJs is like, most of them are dudes. and, and it's actually funny because other people will see my name and they'll like comment, like I'll give them some compliment and they'll be like, thanks, dude, or like, thanks, bro. And that's just funny to me. Like, oh yeah, I know DRiP Sweat. Yeah, he tight. Like, okay. All right. But that stuff don't bother me. And it's actually a lot more women DJs coming out on the scene because I think we have that more way of reading the crowd, one, doing what we like to do, but in like a more sensual manner. So it's not too much, too fast. And, you know, we cater to the ladies because that's what we know, that's who we are. And, you know, like we just get the party lit in a different type of way. And so that means our selections are fire. That means we out here listening to good music, the producers, everybody who remixing and mashing up the old school and the new school. Like, we already on top of that, switching from genre to genre, and you just got to be ready. It's lots of femme DJs that I'm coming across that are on the same wave. So we out here, and we are getting more and more out here.
Yes, I love it. I want to talk about just DJing overall, because I remember last Fourth I was in South Carolina and it was this DJ. And he was like, if your DJ don't, what does he say, have a turntable or a scratch table, whatever he said, they're not a real DJ. So my question is, what makes a DJ, or like, what is DJing? Because sometimes I see DJing with just a pure laptop. Sometimes I see DJing with like the scratch board or whatever it's called. And so like, are there different levels to it? Is there a certain way to DJ, or like, just like, what's your thoughts on that?
It's definitely different levels to it. I see anybody that plays music and knows the music that they playing, I see them as a DJ. Like, if you got the aux cord and you fire, like, you're a DJ. And I mean, that's how I started. That's how I started to feel like a DJ. I was just always the person in the family. Well, not always, but I was to be trusted on the aux cord. And I mean, with the laptop and the technology, everything is so different and changing all of the time. And it's really about how adaptable do you want to be, and like how progressive that you're trying to get your craft together. So it's really up to the person what all they feel comfortable with and what all they're going to allow themselves to feel less comfortable with in order to start to feel more comfortable with. There's all types of DJs out there, and it's all types of DJs that DJ like specifically a genre, Like, it's the hip hop heads that are just like, I'm playing hip hop no matter what. We are kicking it 90s. We are going into the early 2000s. Like, it's some DJs that be on that. But yeah, it's definitely different levels. And me being immersed around the specific type of DJs, like, let's see, They Hold over here, and like Doc B. It's so many places that you can go within the craft and techniques and like manipulations of songs and transitions and like treating your set like a live painting, essentially, that you can go about. And that's definitely how I treat a lot of my sets. Like, it's like I'm live painting right now, and y'all just here to be a part of that. But yeah.
Look, I would say something different, but we on live. But I like that. That was definitely poetic. What advice would you give, you know, not even just like women, but just overall, just like DJs, specifically in Milwaukee? Because what I see just with artists overall, I think sometimes we get stuck in just like the Milwaukee scene. But how do you expand out of just Milwaukee or out of Wisconsin? How do you begin to build your brand as a DJ in other places?
I would say a lot of it does come from the people that you know, and that you surround yourself by. Like I said earlier, I was thankful to come across the types of mentors that I have. And luckily, my mentors have been doing this for a long time and were my mentors because I also want to be doing this for a long time. And, you know, like knowing how to stay clear within the longevity of doing it. And sometimes that involves rebranding yourself. So it's really about how do you want to brand yourself. Because sometimes people are just comfortable with doing local gigs and being local. But we've been blessed with the powers of social media. So pretty much now anybody can be anywhere they want to be.
At any time.
Yeah. So I would say if you're going to take yourself seriously enough to where you want to get established as a DJ and as some DJ that does travel and go out and do all different types of gigs, find mentors, ask around, because people are so much more accessible now than you think. Like, everybody be on their phone. And if not that, everybody got an email. And start to think about other things that you need within a business, because essentially that's what I'm doing right now. I'm running DJ Drip Sweat as my business. And I have my face, I have my logo, I have the social media accounts, and it doesn't have to be super fancy. Like, everything can be simple. It's just a matter of having something out there where other people can see you, and be accessible. So that could either look virtually and or physically, because it is, like I said, about the people that you know, and you can connect with anybody and they could put you anywhere on whatever map, wherever, because you just never know. So be kind, be friendly, because you never know. Also part of my advice.
Shout out to all the DJs that's joining right now. Shout out to DJ Drip Sweat. I always love when you press your button, dude. It be like,
you know what it is?
What?
It's David Banner.
Really?
In the song Play.
What? How did see
Work that let me see you drip sweat.
what?
Yes, just that little
Hey,
tag, baby.
that's the real DJ stuff right
Perfect.
there. How did you hear that?
You know, it just came, and then my mentor, he just made me like tags, and so I've been having them forever.
No, they're perfect. I mean, as soon as you hit that button,
Yeah, because it's like I got a name like Drip Sweat, so people are like, okay, like is she like lit or like how are we
what?
dripping sweat today? And it's just like I'm just trying to be smooth, dog. Like we vibing, man. So it is perfect.
No, it is perfect. You have brought up social media just like a couple of minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of about social media, but during the pandemic, I know like a lot of like just like live music kind of just really stopped. So as a DJ, like, how are you able to kind of manage through that during the pandemic?
So the start of the pandemic was a really brutal time for me, but it was not completely due to the pandemic. It was just a lot of stuff happening that year. And I think with the amount of things that was going on, I think a lot of the duties and responsibilities of DJs started kicking in because there's now this, well, it started long ago. You know, DJs are nerds. Like, quite frankly, we're just nerds. We're computer geeks. We know all the new latest technology. We're going to go out and buy it. We're going to talk about it with our friends and just be hype in the internet, in the technology world. So there's this live streaming app called Twitch, and that's usually used for gamers. But since the pandemic, I've seen a sprout of musicians and artists live streaming too. And with this, there's like this underground DJ scene that just is grown so much in a way that a lot of people were ready for. Because within the pandemic, you know, people are sick. Don't touch me. I'd rather stay at the crib. And DJs live streaming really helps with the introverts, helps with the people that don't want to be out, and the people that want to be at the house and do whatever they want to do at the house and listen to a DJ, listen to some good music, not have to worry about a commercial coming on or not knowing what song to pick next. So that's been really cool to see. And it's just growing, like it's still growing. So that's what I did. I found a way to start live streaming, and it was really cool.
How has it been now getting back to in person and actually like being back out around people and showing your gift to the world?
I love it. I loved it so much, and I got a taste of it last year when I did Summerfest. I wasn't worried. I was just going in like I have no idea how Summerfest is about to look this year. And last year it was a nice like dunk your toes in type of getting back into bigger festivals or bigger events where there are more people, because it had a lot of people, but it wasn't the usual cracking Summerfest where like everybody is there, everybody and their mama. You can't walk nowhere, you can't sit nowhere. It's hot, it's cold, it's raining. So I had two shows last year, and they were both good. And so it's been nice. And hearing music like that on a bigger scale, oh, it's just like the dancer in me. I be needing that. I be needing to be right here at the subwoof. Like, give me all of the bass. Give me all of the treble. I am here. Yeah. It's
No,
been super nice.
you
And
don't.
I love people. I mean, and I love having people dance. Like, I want people to drip sweat. Everybody should be dripping sweat. I don't know why people don't drip that much sweat, but it
Bro,
will cool you off.
you ain't see. They ain't never seen me in the club. You got to be in. You got to be constantly moving. But then it really do depend on the DJ, because there have been times where, you know what I don't like? Us be a popping song, right? Whether it's a slow song or whatever, and then out of nowhere they just switch it, and and then the whole crowd's looking like, was you not feeling the room? Did you not see that we were all, we were all here? You went over there, bring us back.
Yeah. But that's also just comes with taking those risks. Because again, like, this is your job, and you up here, and you are entertaining. So you're put on the spot. And I definitely take lots of risks. Because I'm ready to go. I know the song. That's what my job is to know the song. It ain't for all y'all to know the song up in here. You don't ask radio DJs to not put you on to some new stuff. So
no, I feel that. So how do you prepare for a Summerfest compared to a smaller event? Like, let's say maybe the Cactus Club. Even if the Cactus Club is sold out and Summerfest is sold out, like how do you prepare for those different types of shows?
For Summerfest, I definitely show out. I'm gonna treat it like any other festival. It's a lot of people here that don't know me, and I'm about to make them know me real quick. As opposed to Cactus Club, people know me. I ain't got to do too much. I'ma still do me, but I usually cater more to people when I'm out doing those types of venues, because it's just such a more intimate space. And as a DJ, I just feel like I need to fit the vibe and fit the wave of the evening. So I usually do some research on like what other bands are playing or how they want me to be. Because I could turn up if we're going to turn up. But if y'all playing some R&B, some slow night, like I can do that too, So it really just depends.
Do you have a specific genre that you like to play often, or you just really like to mix stuff all the time?
I really love to mix stuff all the time. And what's cool about a lot of the producers who've been in the stew cooking up all 2020, woo! I mean, they're really the ones that are making DJs fire. Like the fire DJs out right now, they're definitely getting put on to how to mix songs and genres in a very fluent and elegant way that still is lit and hype, and everybody can sing the words to and just move to it in a different way, in a surprising way that knock people off guard. Yeah.
So do you play kids parties? Because most of my friends that are DJs, I never hear y'all say y'all do a kids party. Have you ever done one?
I've been asked to do one kids party, and it was by a family member, and the baby was, I think, like 1, and not really paying attention to the music. It was more so for the adults. I didn't have any of the kids' requests at the time. It's just like, I don't really know what's going on over here. It was a bounce house. The bounce house was in the building, and I was just, it was one of those. Have I decided that I wouldn't do any kids' birthdays from then? No. But have I received any from then? No.
Well, you're all listening right now. Hit her for some kids party. We're about 30 minutes in, so just joining in. My name is Naisha Stone. This is Carbon Stone, your weekly source of positive news. We have DJ DRiP Sweat with us for the CNS IG Live with positive Black women. So we've been talking about the DJ side for a little bit, but I want to switch over to Farmer Dria. So where did this come from? Like, how did when do you be growing? What's your interest in growing, and what have you learned?
Ooh, okay. How I got into it was the year pandemic. The summertime, I had a lot of time to reflect and think about what I wanted to do. And those conclusions came to I did not want to live in the city at this time. I wanted to live on lots of acres at the time in a bigger house with my family and grow food for people on a massive scale and learn about plants. So met up with a mutual friend like in November of 2020, and they were like, just so you know, me and a couple of other friends, we just bought a farm and are looking for people. And I was like, well, would you look at that? So when the opportunity came, it was just kind of like, well, I've been asking for it, so let me try it out. Visited, I think, like February of 2021, and yeah, started going through a provisional membership process and officially started that in May. And yeah, and then I was living on the farm for a year.
What is it to be a farmer? What did you learn on a farm?
I learned how to, that geeky side, that engineering in me, learn how to work with lots of power tools and different machinery, the machinery that it takes to create beds and rows for plant growth and sowing seeds and all that. And they look very aggressive, like backwards lawnmowers and like they sound very aggressive, like what is it called? We were using like the power hammers, and I learned how to work with a lot of tools. Like I'm Bob the Builder now. Like for real, if I wasn't DIY before, I'm definitely DIY.
I so believe you too.
Yeah, like I built shelves. There were benches built. There was chicken coops built. Basically anything that was needed, we found the resources for it and did it ourselves, which was really cool. I learned a lot about what it takes to have a huge house, like physically, and the things that can that you look out for. I learned how to work basically a chimney house. So the fire source is in the basement. Like you are the furnace.
Oh, and so you in there?
Yeah. Yep. I learned a lot about different farm creatures or farm animals. Seen the process of chickens and ducks in their baby forms, and how quickly they grow, and then how quickly they start laying eggs. which is really super wild. And I learned a lot about seeds and how plants go from their like flower form, which is, well, go from their flower form to like how it is when you get it and when you eat it, and the different seeds that they have is crazy. And how small some of them are, and they grow into like these huge big things that you got to put trellises up for. Is just...
Isn't that life though? That's life though.
Right. Yeah.
And then bam, look at us.
Yep.
Speaking, what do you think it would do for the Black community if we started growing our own food again?
I really want this to happen. It's such a different experience. Like, I've eaten food never like how I've ever eaten food before. Store-bought food is completely different. It's the first time I ever tasted a real carrot from the ground. That is very different than the carrots that you buy that look like thumbs that you get from the store, that you crack open, put some ranch on, call it a day. Very different.
Like what's the, just specifically from a carrot, what's the difference between like a very, very fresh carrot compared to one that you would buy in the store?
For me, it's like this is weird how to explain the taste. It's kind of like a perfumey taste, but not quite. And the more you leave carrots in the ground, the sweeter that they get. So I had some like carrot pie for the first time. It would just be amazing to grow our own food because we know what we're doing and we're getting it from the source. It's nothing like walking into your backyard, grabbing all that you need from your store and walking back into your house and making a meal from the earth's head and like feeling that kinetic energy, like, wow, yes, I did eat some great food. This is nourishment. I feel wonderful. This is what vitality feels like. Okay, cool. I think it'd do wonders for the Black community. I think everybody should try gardening at least once, or growing a plant, growing any plant, growing a flower plant. It's flowers you can eat too. I learned all about that. Eating flowers, eating weeds from the ground. Weeds don't really be weeds. There are some weeds that you can make into teas that are medicinal for you. It's just a matter of expanding our knowledge of what we can consume and what we should be consuming.
That's definitely something we should be taught in schools. I don't like the necessary things in life we aren't taught at school, and cooking is one of them. Whether it's from a grocery store or from the ground, we just not taught how to cook. Period. So I think big issue. I do think we do need to learn how to like grow our own food. I tried, and I didn't I think in college or maybe high school, and I didn't know like the stuff needed different types of soil or like different levels, and like they all came together. So yeah, I had up on there. I got this growing next to this, and this need more sunlight than that. So it can get very technical, but if you taught at a young age, it just come like second nature to you. And that's just something like we're just not used to. I don't even think people in Milwaukee know that they're, I don't know if Growing Power is still there, but I think it's renamed. But like the farm that's on Silver Spring Neighborhood Center, on Silver Spring, right across from, like, I think a lot of people don't even know that there was a farm with goats and chickens and all that. Like, we get so far detached from the actual land, and we'd rather just sit in our house. Like, and hopefully one day that will change.
Yeah, it is a lot of stuff to unpack though, and like trauma. Because it's kind of, you know, like me, I have my black, I don't know if I can cuss, but my black
Yeah.
ASS out there. Um, and sometimes it was like a wave of feeling like a slave. It's like, ooh, I'm
Mm.
glad that I'm doing this for nobody but me right now. So it was a lot of healing within taking back that power essentially, and taking back the divine right that you have to steward the earth and have gardens and know about plants and what to do with them.
And I agree with that, because I think not even just with gardening, but I think that, and I don't even think it's just the Black community, but a lot of us don't want to do hard work anymore or do the work ourselves because we feel like somebody playing us, but not realizing like they had, like, we need to be doing this basic stuff. We need to know how to cook. We need to know how to grow. We need to learn how to do these things. Be able to get our own water from the sky instead of depending on it to come out the sink, because here's lead water, lead pipe. So there's a lot of things, like you said, a lot of trauma, but we just don't talk about it. And when we do, it's the wrong damn conversation. We be talking about the wrong people and the wrong stuff, and it just be like, this doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you was to talk to me about growing as a freshman Naisha in high school, man, that would have went in this ear and out the other, because like, that's not, if you can't just randomly talk to me about growing food out of nowhere when this is nothing we've ever talked about a day in our lives. But now when we're supposed to know about the taxes. We're supposed to know, oh, it's unhealthy to do this. But how the hell am I supposed to know all this? I'm playing catch up for the rest of my life.
Right. Yeah.
But I want to get back to DJing. We got a couple of more minutes. What is one major thing you've learned about being a good DJ from when you first started to now? Got her stumped, y'all.
One good thing, and something that would be my advice as a DJ who is looking to be memorable, who is looking to be favorable among many different types of people, and connect with multiple different types of people, both DJs and both clients, and somebody who wants to get into music production and have their own singles and stuff out. My advice and my good thing that I've learned: expand your musical vocabulary. And by that, I mean, like, literally just listening to stuff that you don't listen to on a regular basis and stepping outside of your box. Because that's how all of what people like anyways. Everything has been sampled. Every single thing. There is no, like...
day by day.
Like, even if you making original content, I'm pretty sure there are multiple songs out there with people from the planet who have used the same chords, probably the same beat, probably the same program. So just step outside of your comfort zone, because you just never know. There's so much good music in the world.
So how do you find it? Like, there's all like, how do you stay up on the music, whether it's old music, new music? How do you like just stay refreshed all the time?
So when I was growing up, we listened to the radio a lot. Like, I actually was called, like, my nickname was Radio, because I knew most of the songs on the radio. Like, no matter what channel you change, it was like, boop, da 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 da, boop, and da 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 da, boop. Okay, you gonna know every song on the radio? You gonna sing every one? So definitely radios will do it. And I have the luxury of Spotify Premium, Spotify, and other musical apps like that, they tend to get more into playlists and are bringing in DJs actually, and people who do the we call it crate digging, because we're, you know, DJs disc jockey. So what do we bring to the party? We bring the discs. But there are apps like that, and I'm constantly on my like Discover Weekly. I'm constantly on my release radar, even on SoundCloud. I'm constantly on my like updated weekly. And you should actually see when I'm downloading new music, I go off on so many tangents. It's like, ooh, this sound good. Let me go to their album. Ooh, this sound good. Oh, who else sound like them? Oh, y'all sound good too. Then it turns into downloading 10,000 songs in a day, you know, or 3 days, because it doesn't take that long. And I ain't got 5G internet yet.
How many songs do you think you know? And I mean like word per word. How many songs do you think you know?
Dang. And I'm such a nerd, and my memory is good. So I have so many references. I have so many references, and I play games and video video games, and like their soundtracks for them. I'm there. I know them. Oh, let's see. To be on the safe side, I'll say 1,000 at least.
I know it's more than that.
I know it's more than that too, but on the safe side, at least 1,000.
Cause you the friend,
like, and I'm talking about even more than from word to word. Like, I know the beat, I know the switch up. I'm Timberland on that song.
Yeah, you the friend that be teaching me. Yep, that's the violin. So when I be hearing certain songs, I be like,
yeah.
The car with you, and you be like, you hear that, and I'm like, I hear it now. Like, so thank you for that. Well, if y'all just joining us again, Aisha Stone, we have Dria Rushing, known as DJ DRiP Sweat. So how I end all interviews is when people rewatch this interview or just watch it for the first time, what do you want them to get from this interview?
Listen to good music. Like, this you don't really have to do much more than that. Listen to you do have to drink your water. You do need to stay hydrated. But if you're going to listen to music, make sure you listen to good music. Music that resonates with you. Because music is also healing. I mean, it's a definite form of healing, and a form of healing that can be a catalyst for other forms of healing. Like, I'm listening to music while I roller skate. I'm listening to music while I'm painting. I'm listening to music while I'm in the gym hitting about 50 squats. I'm I'm listening to music when I'm driving. I'm listening to music while I'm sitting here talking to you and ain't got no headphones, ain't got no other music out here. I'm listening to music all of the time. It's a blessing. I don't know if it's a curse, but it's a lot. It be on. I be on. It be on up there. And be your authentic self, really.
No, I love it. When's your next show, or how can people follow you? Like, give us all like little details before we go.
I have a website that is www.djdripsweat.com. And other than that, you can follow me on all of my social medias at DJ DRiP Sweat. On Twitter, I am a hoot. On Instagram, I mostly post memes. I feel like people go back and forth about like what is professional and what is not. And I think that we kind of we can afford to blur the lines on it a bit more, just because humans are, like, we're multi-dimensional creatures and beings. Like, I can be professional and still cuss at the end of the day, and I can do ballet and twerk my ass. Like, we
we can do semi-professional, and we know,
yeah,
so,
right.
We would be a lot worse if this was not, on a professional setting. But this is what
Yeah.
y'all.
Yeah. So, you can follow me on my social medias. I'm usually around, and I do tend to keep up on my Instagram with the stuff that I'm doing more frequently. This weekend, I will be at the Outsider Rooftop on Friday. And then Saturday, I'm heading to Madison to Downdrans Drilling to do a groovy night with a set of friends. And then I've been doing Blue Brunches, which is a brunch at company where I spin like world music and like reggae. Sometimes I dip into reggaeton, Afrobeat, like Brazilian funk, disco. I just kind of go all around the world. It's one of my favorite things to do as a DJ. Like, that's my gig where it's like, I'm finna put y'all on. But yeah, I'm out here every weekend, y'all. It has been nonstop. I have been getting my ass handed to me in the very best of ways, and it's been fun. I've been loving seeing y'all. Thank y'all for all y'all support, because there's some people in here right now who I really love and who are like what I like to call my sweaties and my driplets. My true driplets out there. I love you, sweaties.
And I'm gonna be in the crowd like, I'm a driplet.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Dria. This is the 7th episode of CNS IG Live with Positive Black Women. Every Thursday of the summer at 6 o'clock Central Time, I'll be interviewing a different Black woman who's doing something positive in life. If y'all not doing nothing tomorrow, come out to the Sugar Maple if you're in Milwaukee for the CNS Scholarship Fundraiser from 4 to 8. We'll have a live DJ, couple of snacks, so get there early. But we'll be auctioning off art, book stuff, and just a whole bunch of different stuff. Family is definitely more than welcome to come. Bring your kids, all that good stuff. And I'll see y'all next Thursday. See you, Dria.
Bye, y'all.